Hello everybody, Trinity here. In this video I'm going to be trying out the Birdseed Tek to make grain spawn. So let's just get right into this. Just so everybody knows, this is my first time doing this, so I'm not an expert. This video is just for entertainment and education purposes. Yeah, so let's just get into it. Alright. Let me find my scissors. First things first, I need to measure out how much birdseed that I'm going to be needing. And I'm going to be using lids that are, half my lids that I'm going to be using for this are going to be modified, half are going to be unmodified, just because I don't know which I like better. So, for science, I'm going to do a little bit of both. Alright. So I'm going to be doing 6 jars, and that means I need 3 jars worth of birdseed. And the type of birdseed that I'm using, let's see, it's milo, wheat, white millet, black oil sunflower seed, which you don't need the sunflower seed, but it's in there and I'm stuck with it, so not a big deal. Alrighty. Let's see if I can do this. This is not easy. There we go. Okie dokie. So 1 is going to go into my big cook pot here. So I'm going to put 3 into my 8-quart cooking pot. Alrighty, so let me show you roughly how much is in there. So my 8-quart is about, about 1/3 full. And I'm just going to fill this up with enough water to cover the grains, and I'll be right back. Now you'll notice that the sunflower seeds kind of float to the top. Seeing how we don't need those, I'm actually going to scrape some of those out of there. You don't have to do that, it's just something that I'm going to do. So let me get that done. As you can see, I've gotten most of the sunflower seeds out. There's still a few floating around in there, but nothing too major. So now we're going to move this over to the stove. So I've got this on high until it boils, and then once it boils, I'm going to reduce the heat down to medium, and we're going to let the seeds boil for 30 minutes in order to hydrate the grains properly. So we're going to let it do that, and we're going to come back after that, and we'll move on to the next step. Alrighty. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes. I have put my grains through the colander here, and I'm spreading them out on baking pans to dry. So the general, and a cutting board to dry because I ran out of baking pans. The general idea is to get them completely dry on the outside so that if you put them on a piece of tissue paper, the tissue paper doesn't get wet. And that's when you know you've reached the correct moisture content, so that there's no external moisture when you put them into the jars. And this is going to take several hours. So I'm going to leave these here, and I will come back in several hours and we'll take a look and see how they are. Alrighty. Are you ready to see one hell of a mess? See all that birdseed? And up we go to all of this birdseed. So, a friend of mine, while I was waiting for it to dry, was asking how long it was going to take, and they said, well, why don't you put it back in the colander and use a hairdryer, because that's what I do. And I thought, wonderful idea. The only problem is that birdseed is light, and it decided to blow all over the place. She did tell me that it would make a mess if I didn't put it in a bigger colander, but I didn't realize that it was going to be quite like this. So I'm going to be cleaning birdseed up for the next week. But the grains are dry, so to give you an idea, let's test them. Let me find a piece of paper towel here, or toilet paper. So we're just going to take a handful of grains, put them on there. Pick that up. And aside from them sticking a little, there's no water on the toilet paper. So they're ready to go into jars. Alright, I'm going to jar these up and come back once those are done for the next step. Alrighty. Alright, so my jars are a little over 3/4 full, leaving a little bit of room to shake, break and shake when it's time. And it's time to put on the aluminum foil. Just to give you an idea with the covers though, with the modified covers, you just put those on like normal. With unmodified covers, instead of putting it seal down, you flip it seal side up and you just screw it on. Oops. You screw it on till it's finger tight so that it can breathe and your jar doesn't explode. And then you can just put your aluminum foil back on top here. And the aluminum foil is to keep water from dripping down into your jars. On my modified jars, it's more important because it's got micropore tape to cover up the breathing hole on there. And in my pressure canner, there are 3 quarts of water per the directions in my booklet. Make sure that you read the booklet for your particular pressure canner so that you know how they operate and what you're supposed to be doing with them. Mine is a Presto 23 quart pressure canner. And now I'm going to just put my jars inside. Technically, with this particular canner, you can fit 9 of these in. You put these in, you'd have one in the center, your 7th one there, you'd put a second rack, and then you could lay down the other 2 jars to get 9 done. But I just need 6 done, so that's what I'm doing. So the next step is to pop the cover on this thing and leave the weight off, bring it up to a boil so that the whatever you call it, the steam valve here. See what I mean when I said this isn't a tutorial? This is just a vlog of me doing this. That little thingamahoozer right there has a steady stead of steam coming out of it. And once it's done that for 10 minutes, you can put the weight on and you lower the heat and you start letting the pressure build up. And that's about it. So I'm going to start my pressure canner and I will meet back with you once that's done. And I have a cat that just jumped on me. Yay. So there has been a steady stream of steam for 10 minutes coming out of the, I don't know what you really call that, the steam hole. And the little pressure thing has popped up, letting me know that pressure is building in there. So it is time for me to put the weight on my pressure canner. And now I'm going to turn the heat down to medium and let this come up to pressure slowly. I want to get it up to 15 psi. And once I get it there, I want to hold it there for 90 minutes and then the grain spawn will be done. This little valve right here, it pops up so that you actually cannot physically open the canner until the pressure has released so that it's safe. but I'm just going to leave this on the stove overnight for everything to cool off, just for safety and convenience reasons. Plus, it is 7:30 at night as it is, so it's going to be almost my bedtime by the time this is done. And I'll have 6 jars of grain spawn. Alrighty, so I think that covers everything in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it at least a little bit humorous and fun and potentially informative. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and I'll link my Discord in the comments, or in the description down below. Have a great night. Bye-bye, guys.